Hey guys, welcome to another Architect React, and in today's video we're going to be looking at PromeAI. Now, a lot of the AI software I have not been a huge advocate for, and the reason being because a lot of the AIs that I've found, even the image generator, they'll take your words and they'll generate an image out of it, and 9 times out of 10 it's not exactly what you want. Or sometimes that AI has just pretty much took your words too literally and ended up giving you something that in real life won't make any sense, like a shark out of water or a whale walking through a sandy beach. All of those make sense whenever we're talking about them, but this AI is particularly different. Let's go ahead and dive right in. So as we're looking at PromeAI, as we are looking at the interface, a lot of the things are already showing up just like it would when it comes to looking at any other image AI. But what I find fascinating about this is under AI tools, you have sketch rendering. Now, when I select this, what I've been looking at particularly is all the things that you can generate that are architectural related. Now, this is everything that I have been actually generating, and some of it being, if I look at my generation in history, I can choose an image. Now, one of the things that I have been finding that is quite interesting is if I select choose an image, I can upload my own images. Now, previously I uploaded this image here. As rough as it is, it was supposed to be a rendering of a front elevation, and I specified that. And as I started generating from that image, I was able to get to this image. And when I selected edit, now I didn't like the background in particular. I selected edit and I went under replace and erase. I was able to get results which I was satisfied with would be something similar to that. So taking a simple sketch, specifying that this is a steel frame, specifying that there's wood, how do we go about doing that when it comes to generating off of an AI? How can I replace backgrounds? As you can see in this one, I have forest. On this one, I have an actual building. And we're gonna be looking at some of these demonstration live. So this is something that I've been very, very fond of in this particular AI, is not only do I have architectural elements that I can control, it knows that I'm doing an architecture. So let's go ahead and take an example. So one of the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna look through go back to home. I'm gonna go to my AI tools, and I'm gonna click on sketch rendering. Now, I'm particularly a fan of sketch rendering because I'm not getting arbitrary results. I'm gonna select here and add image, upload an image. Now we can add many images, but I have quite a bit saved on my desktop. And these are all the images that I'm going to be working with. So if I select, let's say this elevation, and I open that into my AI, it is gonna say, oh, the image is too large to process. We're gonna go ahead and auto size it, that's fine. And once this image is placed in here, it's just a simple elevation, looking at it straight on. I have like a small planter, and then there's some steps that are going up. There's double doors there, a person behind a screen, and some glass, and some more steel members, right? But this is where it gets interesting. Right here, we can be looking at our prompt, and I can specify what kind of a prompt it is. I'm looking at a front elevation. This is important. Now I can say what type of a generator do I want. Obviously, we're gonna go with the latest one, version 3. Now under style, and this is where we can become very specific. I'm particularly a fan of photography, architectural realistic, again, architectural related, architectural rendering. And in this one, I've had good results with architectural realistic, but I've also had good results with rendering. But I'm gonna select realistic just for demonstration purposes. You also have anime. I don't wanna dive into unique conceptual art and stuff like that, because there are a specific art style that I am fond of in here. But again, you can look at illustrations as well. But when it gets further and further out, when it comes to retro, we'll talk about this, but this is more of a graphic that is pretty much aesthetics. This is like something that you might prefer. I'm a fan of architectural realistic. I'm also a fan of, if I was to go under illustrations, I have also tweaked with some of these, and these have been giving me good results. So let's just go ahead and go with photography. Now that's just a style. Now when it comes to scene, look, we can talk about architecture or interior, commercial space. These are things that I've been actually working with. Of course, landscape design as well. So it automatically moves these to the top. Now, when I select architecture, guess what happens? I select the architecture, it'll ask me, is this a villa, residence? I select the residence, and it goes a step further. Let's look at building styles. You see a tab, and then it has multiple options. Let's select building style. Now, what kind of an architecture style do I want? And there's not just 5, 6 choices. This is just minimalism. There's commercial, there's modern, there's American styles, there's futurisms. We can look at European traditional. There are so many options that I haven't even yet to explore all of these. African traditional. Let's go back and let's go stick with modern on this one. But going under modern, I was able to find like really, really good stuff here. Bare concrete, industrial works. So you can pick anything from here, but I'm just gonna stick with minimalism. Let's just stick with pure geometry for now. Doing something simple. You can select your environmental style. Again, I wanted autumn, I want it to rain, I want it to be dusk, I want it to be foggy. I want this to be in the middle of a forest. Let's just say a birch forest. And these are the things that I've specified, and I can hit generate. But again, here, I can do fast, I can do slow, I can do multiple images at the same time. I can do 3 images, and I can hit generate. And while this is generating, we can talk about other options. We can go under discover and remix. So again, this has been a game changer, because not only are you getting multiple options, you're also looking at what is this capable of doing. Now, this is a hand sketch that I have done in my sketchbook, that it was just a small thumbnail sketch, something roughly the size of 1 inch by 1 inch. I quickly sketched it. I was like, hey, let me look at what it can come up with. And lo and behold, it actually comes up with something, but it actually scales it too. If you put a person in there, I have seen my drawing being scaled to the appropriate size. So I have been getting results that are like more of a conceptual design. From a conceptual design point, I'm going, oh wow, okay, I never thought about it this way. Because adding few lines on a paper and then getting results like this is astonishing. Another thing I did was I got this as an anime style render. I did this off of an image that you'll be shocked by. It literally is a image that I took a snapshot out of Revit. I literally went under Revit, placed the camera, took a picture from the first floor plan, just placing a camera at any vantage, placing a camera looking into the bathroom from this corner, zooming out, just like that. And the best part is we can actually scale these images up, right? When it comes to downloading these images, they can be 2K, 4K, so your reference size doesn't really matter. So I just took an image like this, and then I just went under snip tool, took that image out as a small reference point, and then went back, and guess what? I already rendered that exact view. So I went under sketches, and then here I selected this sketch. And when I'm gonna generate the same thing, this time I'm gonna say this is a bathroom. So at this point, we've already rendered an image, 3 version of it, by using only 0.3 of our coins. You get a specific amount of coins that you can use. So 0.3 of those were used for that image. Now we're gonna generate off of this bathroom. Look how crude this image is. If we zoom into it, it's blurry. This image is taken very, very like haphazardly. I didn't pay too much attention to it. I can say bathroom, or I can say secondary bathroom. Then keeping the same version to render in style. Now I can get rid of my options, or let's select something illustration style. Let's pick this as our illustration style. As you can see, we have variety of options. Now my scene, what am I looking at in terms of my scene? This is not a residential building or pure geometry or in a birch forest. This is an interior project. Notice how I even have a floor plan option, but we don't need that. We know exactly what this is. This is a bathroom, and it has options for those. Then I can go under scene elements. What do I want to add in this bedroom or bathroom? What kind of a sink do I want? What kind of a shower do I want? Do I need a toilet that looks like this? A modernistic toilet. Okay. And then there's gonna be a tub there. I don't have to specify any of it because it's gonna stay true to my rendering. The more I specify, the more Loctite I become. Interior styles. Again, I have yet to explore every one of these styles, but I can select Japanese. I can select rustic. I can select industrial. I've yet to run out of options. I'm gonna go under Japanese and I'm just gonna select a Japanese metropolitan. Just a simple style. I'm gonna go ahead and select my environment. Do I want it in nighttime, daytime, dusk? Now I have my options selected. Do I need 3 images? Again, generate 0.3 coins. 0.3 is nothing. Go ahead and generate that. So as we're generating these images, one of these images came directly out of my sketchbook. As you can see, this is what the result was. And again, this was another image that I got out of my sketchbook that I refined. And eventually I've managed to make it look like that because I specified. But as I'm doing these, you can see what is coming up with. I did a bathroom earlier in a different style, and this is what I was looking at when it came to that bathroom. I did a 1990s and it ended up putting this trim around it. It ended up making this as an exhaust. It is a quick way of visualizing something that might be preliminary. And these are the options I'm getting for Japanese modern. So that might be the bathroom that you want to actually put up there in front of your client. I feel like there's a mirror here. I can see a sink. I can see visually what's going on. You might want to crop this image down to here, but there's nothing more I would replace. Now, over here, you see how the AI has slightly messed up? That might be something in question. I can X out of this right here, or I can select edit. And here I can erase and replace. And guess what it will do? We can come in here and use our pen tool to say, make this a wall. Just come in here, specify all of this, and say, replace, and over here, specify what you want, bathroom wall. So now I'm refining it, and I can generate that, and it will give me 3 more renderings of it being refined. The refining aspect of the AI, combining that, now I'm getting 3 options, but these 3 options, this one added a door in. Next one, we can look at it. It's gonna give me multiple options, as you can see. I can look at this one, I have a flat wall. It fixed the rendering for you. This is entirely like something I couldn't even imagine doing in the past. This is something that is outlandish. This is how fast you can bring out renderings nowadays. You can download this image. It'll allow you to download at a full download size. You can upscale it to something that is extremely large. And I can simply X out of this. And this is a simple walkthrough, but again, I've only spent 0.6 of my coins so far to be able to do all of this. And we'll talk about all the variations that you can come up with. So far we have come up with 2 of these things. Let's go back and let's do another AI image. Let's do another sketch rendering. I'm not a huge fan of AI renders by itself because particularly if it's not following a sketch, it's just gonna generate something at random. So I'm gonna upload an image, and this time let's try a floor plan. Again, who can say that they can do lifetime 6 renderings and we haven't even been 10 minutes into this video? So this is a floor plan that I sketched. If you look closely, there's a bathroom here, a secondary bathroom there. The kitchen is not defined. This was supposed to be the primary bedroom. These are my secondary bedrooms. There's a partition here. We're gonna be looking at that rendering as well. I'm looking at this one project called the Aperture. Worked on it for a while, but let's go ahead and do this. We're gonna specify this as a residential floor plan, and we're gonna specify this with 3 bedrooms. Actually, let's do 2 bedrooms. 2 bedrooms. Now, what I'm gonna do, version 3, style. Keep it architectural realistic. I could go under all the other, let's select anime for this one. Let's do the scene styles. We're not gonna be looking at these as our scenes. We're gonna be looking at architecture for sure. This is a residential building. And then we're gonna specify what kind of a residential building is. So we're gonna go ahead and come here, look at interiors. We're gonna select our floor plan. You can specify your bedrooms, you can specify furniture, but I think the more I specify, the worse it's gonna get. Do landscape and design. And we can even put landscape plan. Why not? Let's just add a landscape plan around the building. There's another option here, mode. We haven't talked about this enough, but this is a precision concept. Pretty much this is for if you're trying to retain as much precise details as possible when it comes to your sketch. This is depth. This is ability for it to just interpret your dark lines and light lines as depth feature. And then the outline means your lines are considered like an outline, something that is might be following all along. And this will pretty much be the guide for it. But the rest of it is interpreting on its own. The more precise you want it, you click here. The more outline you want it, you click here. So as you can see, the creativity mode will jump back and forth. I've found myself between 55 and 40, where you can actually get results that reflect your sketches. Here, we don't have to worry about perspective. These are all advanced options, but you can actually select your perspective. You want a macro shot, how do you want to look at it? But since we're doing top-down view, I don't think we need any of these to be looked at. And again, we're not dealing with people, we're dealing with buildings. So 3 fast generated concepts. Let's see what it comes up with. So another thing that I've been fascinated by is I can actually take other architecture sketches, like Frank Gehry's sketch. What about the sketch of Mies van der Rohe? Is there any other option to Crown Hall? So these are the things that I start going, oh, there's something interesting I can come up with. As you can see, we selected outline and it gave me something that is very close to what I was actually looking at. Does that make sense? It actually rendered something that I have shadows now. There's certain things that are just being captured that is just insane. Now under the free version, you're gonna have PromeAI written across the bottom. But as we'll talk about pricing and all of this on this, it's not that uberly expensive if you know what you're doing with the software. So over here, I feel like I can actually generate a little bit more. So what I'm going to do is I'm gonna edit this one, or I can edit this one. It really depends. I can select edit here, and I can go erase and replace. And here, now that I'm doing this, I can select this area and say, make this the living room and kitchen hybrid. And now you're gonna have to specify here that what are you trying to replace it with, what's going on, and let's try to generate like 3 or 4 images at this time because I wanna look at a floor plan. I'm not looking at anything that is a half done plan with an image of a couch on it. So what I have found is as you start tweaking with the software, the AI actually responds to what you should be getting as a result. So if you generate a quick result and you're not very specific with your prompt, it will take your words literally. And 9 times out of 10, there's gonna be some results that are gonna be just outright bad. But I have found that if you specify enough, if you are specific with what you're looking for, it will start modifying the floor plan according to your liking. And you can bump up the creativity. It'll shift the floor plan around for you. It'll start making decisions for you. And as you start getting more realistic with the floor plan, you can start specifying, now take that image and edit this image, download this image and bring it back in. So you can actually bring in ideas from different floor plans. So this is something that I found to be a good feature, because I can actually create my own floor plans if I wanted to, and it'll give me ideas that are realistic. So another thing I can look at is, this time I'm gonna do another sketch rendering, but this time around, I'm gonna bring an image in that pretty much I downloaded. Now, this image that I downloaded is a park tower that was created by LTL. This project was never realized. Again, this is live time, so I'm gonna go ahead and crop this image. This is a tower that was done by Lewis, and they specified this tower to be constructed in New York. And this tower was never realized. Although it had great aspirations, it never came to fruition. So in this one, I'm gonna say Skyscraper. And then here, let's look at the style that it could be. I'm gonna keep the photography style because I wanna know what it looks like if it actually realized this concept. Then I'm gonna go ahead and now I'm gonna say, hey, where am I in terms of environment? But let's go ahead and get rid of all of these things. Building type, we're gonna look at a commercial building or a skyscraper. See how specific that is? Select building styles. Now, out of these styles, I'm gonna select commercial, and I'm gonna see if I can find something that is a geometric construction that would make sense, a vertical layering that is very specific to what we're trying to do with this building. As you see, like, there's so many other urban industrial, like, I don't even imagine people knowing what these styles are, let alone they incorporated all of this precise stacking. This is something that you will find Diller Scofidio doing in the Sears Tower. Like, this is so many weird things that are going on. So let's go ahead and keep that style, vertical layering. Let's go to our environment. Environment, I want it daytime. I just want to see what it looks like. I can even do nighttime. We haven't done a night rendering. Let's go ahead and try nighttime. Take out day. And then over here, creativity, keep the creativity high. I want to see what you guys come up with. Detail, I can become very specific when it comes to details. Let's try to get 4 or 5 images out of that. Generate. Let's see what we come up with. So as I'm doing these renderings, I'm actually thinking of ways I can use it. So far I have done a hand sketch. I took an image out of a software, just took a snip or a screenshot and just brought it in. Then I took a skyscraper that was published in a magazine in 2000s. And I just said, hey, I want to see what this realized, because the budget fell through. So what would this look like? And I'm assuming it might look like Diller Scofidio. But again, an architect's vision or another architect's vision, if I'm to interpret it, who's to say that an AI cannot interpret it? So this is where I love the nuances. I love the little caveat that you have where you can just like say, hey, I want to know what it looks like. And the ability to push that boundary goes a long way. So I'm gonna see what this comes up with. But in the meantime, we even forgot about this restroom detail. Look at that sink. Look at that mirror reflecting that sink. Adding additional cabinets, adding another mirror here. I don't know what's going on, but as you can see, this image was more realized than the one that we actually saw previously. And here comes the skyscrapers. So as you can see, it's starting to do the stack effect of Diller Scofidio. It's starting to do, like, the more conceptual I get, the more it's gonna adhere to a different idea. Now let's say I bump the creativity down, go under mode, and instead of being precise, I can say I wanted depth. And let's change the style, because I want to see a different style. I want to see it actually be looked at as an anime. Why not a realistic anime? So at this point, you can actually start looking into, hey, if I wanted at dusk time, that's actually a really, I think dusk would be a better effect. Skyscraper is fine. Let's get rid of the vertical layers and go under building style and change the style altogether. Select commercial, go down, and I think I found better styles here, that instead of vertical stacking, I want something more organic, something that would be more of a language of the park tower. So something that works with angles. Let's see. I can find something. I know I can find something. Spatial layers. Looks kind of cool for now. I could say something that has a, notice I can select more than one. I want something that is, ooh, modern beacon is crazy. Precise dynamism, okay, dynamism, go for it. Tower flow is starting to get the idea, okay, this is angles we're dealing with. These are all blob concepts. These are like something UN Studio would be like, wow. Let's just go ahead and stick with those. Let's go ahead and generate another few. See what we come up with. In the meantime, let's look at these towers. I feel like they're relatively flat. For my sake, they're not. They're just more of a vertical stack rather than a conceptual that it should be. This looks like something that already got built. I mean, I'm looking at environments inside. This is too precise. Again, if you were to then price these renderings out, I remember pricing a tower rendering out. Each image would cost somewhere around $400 to $450, somewhere around that range, just to get each one of the towers to be rendered properly. Again, I have also started specifying the city landscape. I wonder how precise it can get, because I wonder if this can communicate with Google Earth at one point and start placing it in exact city situation. If not, it's very easy to pretty much crop this out and drop it onto a map. Again, this doesn't replace the need for Photoshop. It doesn't replace that. It's just a quick realization of what your building should be. And this is what I was envisioning this tower to actually look like at the end of the day. This is something that I was expecting it to look like in terms of sections, like just overlapping. It's nice. Imagine if that was done realistically. Again, LTL is known for their floor plan and floor plates, and now there's urban gardens on each one, and this is something that they explored. Let's bring another image that actually has a similar language to this. I'm gonna go ahead and add an image, but this time I'm gonna try to bring in a section to see how it does with sections. And then let's keep the same relative style. Let's go under illustration. Let's do realistic fantasy 3. I'm gonna select the scene this time. I wanna do interior or commercial space. This is tough. I could do exhibition and convention center. Let's take a look at it in terms of an exhibition center or commercial center. Let's do it this way. Let's get rid of spatial layers. Let's get rid of precise dynamism. Let's look at dusk, exhibition, and convention centers. We're gonna select our mode to be a precision concept. Let's try to stick with the image. Creativity, let's move it down a little notch. See how easy this is? Let's say a skyscraper section perspective. And then let's go ahead and generate our 5 images. So we've done interior so far. We have done a floor plan, and I talked about how the floor plan could be a little more precise. 3D images, it nails instantly. Interior perspective, 1-point perspective, 2-point perspective, it gets it. Elevation, it's pretty straightforward. It actually gets those as well. I have done experiments with floor plans where I was experimenting with what it can do, and it was able to give me good results. I've also played with 3D axonometrics, and I was trying to see if it's capable of catching a section where it's supposed to be. And it's actually doing a decent job at that as well. I was able to get realistic beachside images off of it, and then even taking the same 3D cabin that we've been working on in my studio, it was able to capture that and actually bring about a realistic image. Let's look at what we have generated so far. So we have this image right here. That's just insane. The fact that it would catch all of that and create its own version of it. another beautiful rendition of what it could be. And you can tell that there's a specific aesthetic that is associated with each one of these. So I think that is the most powerful thing about this software. The fact that it's playing with skin by itself, it recognizes floors, it recognizes a different rendering style. And this is just way out of there. Like, this is just makes zero sense, but it's like, hey, it works. It's just a floating building in the middle of nowhere. But as you can see, it's very good at capturing these things. And again, we've been playing with multiple types of renderings. Now, when it comes to how can I go about doing PromeAI, how much does it cost? If I go under my membership, now the Pro membership costs $78, but if you look at all the plans, right now they have a winter special going on for Christmas. Now, if you were to look at it in terms of how much you would pay specifically to get out images for a specific building, this is practically nothing. It's practically free. If you were to look at it in terms of the fact that each image I've generated today costed around 0.5 or 0.1 of the coins, and then this buys you 500 coins or 2,000 coins and so on and so forth, I could see this application in a commercial office. I could see this application in an office where the designer is very confident in their sketching skill and is capable of realizing those sketches into a software and then upscale it and print it out onto a poster board. When it comes to a student, you do have access to 10 coins per month, which allows you to do relaxed generation, which allows you to do 3 concurrent images at the same time. You're able to manipulate your images. But again, this is for those students that are looking for a midterm jury where they want to have final presentation juries and they want to just get an image out because they're too focused on making sure the plan reads right, drawings read right. So free is recommended, but for those who want 20 extra coins, if they start their membership, you can redeem them on the code that I provide into the description below. But with that said, everything that I focused on today was on sketch rendering. You can also do photo to sketch, which is the reverse of what I've talked about. You can take a photo of your site, convert that into a sketch. So it doesn't defeat the purpose of Photoshop, but it makes your job easier layering instead of manipulating, adding shadows, vignettes, and all of those various things.
Follow for more content.